Yeah, let's just get straight to it. There's a patch coming out tomorrow. The patch notes are today. It's a little weird. Normally, if you guys have ever paid attention, League usually will let you know in advance what goes on with patches. Yeah, this time, they're a little slow on the jump, but the idea is apparently they want to upload patches like every 5 weeks. That's actually pretty cool. I know a lot of people are complaining about it, but I, for one, like playing different characters. If every, month and a half, there might be a new, better character, for sure, I'm with it. Twist KO patch notes for November 18th. Today's the 17th. Congratulations. Nerfs, Ekko, Teemo, Yasuo, buffs, Blitzcrank, adjusted, Warwick, and Ahri. Yasuo nerfed. This is pretty much the thing that we've been wanting. Buffs, Blitzcrank, and adjusted Warwick, Ahri. I looked at the Ahri thing real quick. It's funny because people like to use the word adjusted for just a nerf. New cosmetics, Crime City, Learning Hub, and Bot Beatdown. I don't really, who cares? Bot Beatdown, battle through a series of fights to unlock chromas and more. I guess why not? Pull the Street Fighter 6, and find ways to unlock chromas. The more the merrier, whatever. After completing the initial bot beatdown prologue matches, you can continue to play against the bots of beginner, intermediate, or advanced difficulty. The Learn tab has been removed. Following game modes have been moved to the new Learning tab, tutorial, combo trials event. Ranked rewards. At the end of Season 0, you'll earn ranked rewards for the highest rank you reached. Challenger, where I am. If you manage to reach Diamond or higher, you'll also earn a exclusive avatar item. Cool. Core rules. This is system changes. We're making very few cool core rule adjustments this patch, but we think this will help alleviate some of the pain points you might run into while running sets. Assists no longer have collision after they become invulnerable. This is a really big one right here. I hope it is exactly how it sounds. Usually the problem is assists stay out too long and your combos get bodied. So assists no longer have collision, which I would assume means that you cannot hit them. You'll be able to finish your combo. Congratulations. Parry Shockwave is now full screen. This means that parrying physical attacks should always lead to a punish and should interrupt something like Teemo's super. So a lot of times when you parry something and the background character is doing something, it won't interrupt it because the shockwave when you parry doesn't actually go full screen. Case in point, sometimes Teemo super, like Jinx, like I'll like do a button, right? Then I'll call something and Jinx still gets to call it. Pretty much characters that are full screen, which pretty much this should really only affect Jinx and Teemo, I think. There's a few other instances where characters are full screen and they still get to do stuff. Bug fixes. It is a weird way to word like this, but we'll just have to see tomorrow, right? Bug fixes. Throwing a rolling opponent now adds the correct amount of combo scaling. Fix the bug where champions were unable to block after whiffing a mid-air break, which is oof. Air throw whiff recovery at extremely high jump arcs is no longer shorter than it should be. I don't even know that was a thing. Made small updates to some animations for champions. Ahri. Spirit Rush now has reduced hit stun late into a combo. As a result, some of Ahri's longer combos will be shortened. If used early in her usual common combos, you should notice a difference. That's a nerf. That's not an adjustment. Charm hitbox reverted to a previous smaller version. That's a nerf. Ahri now has the correct number of invincibility frames on her ultimate when it is blocked by an enemy point champion. That's a bug fix, right? But a nerf anyway. So some of Ahri's combos are still dropping on Warwick. Blitzcrank. We're giving Blitzcrank better steam generation. Now, honestly, like, the steam thing is just, he wasn't really gaining steam. Like, let's be real. If you didn't super, you were getting steam. Because he's too big and stupid. This is pretty good. Rocket Punch now destroys projectiles more effectively. Hitbox now appears 5 frames earlier. It used to be on frame 15. Now appears on frame 10. Even right now when I'm playing Blitzcrank, and I'd be like, oh, I'm trying to punch something, and I get bodied. And I'm like, dog, I'm almost 100% certain it was out. This fixes that, right? Rocket Punch Projectile destruction properties now apply to the extended arm. At the end of the punch, a lot of times you would also still get hit by stuff. That's a good change. Their aim to help Blitzcrank beat air-to-ground projectiles from champs like Ekko and Teemo. Moves given more steam. Important. Final hit of fully charged Wrecking Ball block stun. That has been increased by 12 frames. It was negative on block. Now it is +4. Cool. Final hit of fully charged Wrecking Ball, which is, you know, the back and forth swing, has been increased on grounded opponents. So, like, the move is whatever. So, having it be better, I guess, that's cool. Blitzcrank no longer occasionally makes opponents invulnerable with Rocket Punch assist, Rocket Grab. Spinning Turbine now properly pushes opponents back when its final hit is blocked. And the glow effects on Blitzcrank midair no longer persists when interrupted by back throw. So, cool. Braum, no changes. Darius, opponent no longer immediately recovers after being hit. Ekko is overperforming in the meta. This is why we're here, by the way. So we're taking some steps to tone him down. While he's a strong point champion, he is also an incredibly strong assist. We're not opposed to champions being very good at two things, but Ekko is overperforming on both counts. To remedy this, we're making nerfs to bring his assist more in line with other champions, as well as making Time Winder less oppressive. This is his My Time assist. Overall power level reduced. We want this to be an all-arounder, blah, blah, blah. Startup has been increased from 17 to 19 frames. Still pretty fast. Block stun has been reduced from 18 to 15 frames. If you call Ekko's assist twice in a row, it's no longer gapless. So for those that are just swinging the assist twice, you can parry it. Total travel distance has been reduced by 15%. So he can't no longer just YOLO it full screen and hit you. Hitbox decreased in size vertically and horizontally. So, you know, as it says, this reduces its range and prevents it from anti-airing as easily. Hurt box is also increased, making it easier to snuff. Time Winder assist startup has been increased by 5 frames. It was 17 and is now 22. So that's pretty good. You know, he was throwing the ball out really fast because 17 frames for a projectile that stays out and kills you, that's pretty ridiculous. We nerfed the property of Time Winder. Even with those nerfs, this assist was the second fastest in the game at 16 frames. It's now much more reasonable for the screen space that Ekko occupies when performing this assist. Technically, this was 16 frame startup. Now it's 21 frames. Mega Time Winder assist, his super, has 10 actual additional frames on startup. It was 15 frames. Now it's 25. That super was OD. It's still OD, but you can't just toss it out like nothing. Duration of Time Winder has been reduced by 25 frames, around 25 frames. It was 105 frames. It was out for that long. That ball was out there almost 2 whole seconds, and it's now 80 frames. Time Winder take up too much space for how committal the option was. Often in our game, 2 seconds of high octane combat can feel like 2 minutes, and Time Winder lingered long enough that players assumed it was gone. But then we'll get clipped anyway, because it was out there for way too long. I don't know how many times you and I pressed the button thinking that it's going to leave. It's still there. We lose the game. Mid-air Time Winder duration has been reduced by 6 frames on average. Block stun before Time Winder expands has been reduced from 33 to 24. Block stun after Time Winder expands has been reduced from 37 to 32. No longer triggers proximity guard, which is, if you guys don't know, it's when an attack causes you to stop moving while holding back. Someone sticks out something and you're blocking even though it's nowhere near you. Time Winder toss, the one where he tosses it up from crouching, not changed. Crouching medium can be punished more easily. There's a lingering hurt box during recovery frames. Recovery frames have been increased by 2. This move had less recovery than standing M. So his standing button had more recovery than his crouching button. Never heard that one. It doesn't anymore. Removed minimum damage override on his super assist. It now deals 98 damage late in a combo. Attempt number 37. His ultimate damage has been decreased by 20 when it is not used as a counter. It was 500, now it's 480. Ekko's crouching hurt box is now bigger. Teemo can technically instant overhead to him now. I would assume that's what that means. Illaoi, mid-air, crouching, heavy, now deals 100 damage on hit. So it does 10 more damage than the uncharged version. Yeah, he's still Top 3 in the game. Nothing changed. Jinx. Her forward S1. The Chomper no longer mimics her movements after using a 2x assist. No longer has lingering sound effects. No longer fly chappy fly. No longer glitches out. I like how it says her powers should be relatively untouched, but then literally didn't touch her. Why do I feel like that means there's a shadow buff or nerf? I don't like words like that. What does that mean? You didn't do anything. Teemo, the second reason why we're here. His super assist is easier to punish. Hurt box has been increased. Mushrooms now disappear if Teemo is hit. Vandal dash. Forward S1. Frame advantage has been decreased by 3. Now this is crazy. That when he turns into a ball, forward S1, it was 0 on block. Now it is -3. Charged Vandal dash, which is the charge, which should be plus on block, was actually -11. Now it's +2. Which means that in block strings, if you call an assist, he might schmicks you. It's pretty scary. S1 Super Bolts. Teemo's iconic Blow Dart Super will now deal less damage, and combos that convert from the hit will be much shorter. Same thing like Jinx. Now has an additional hit of damage scaling. Each hit now decreases hit stun scaling. So now what that probably means is, you know, like when Jinx does super and I tag into Ahri, I can't even press heavy into knockdown. Now this probably acts the same way. I would assume both Ekko and Yasuo can still get a full combo off of that. Not Ahri though. His instant overhead no longer causes a crouching opponent to stand on hit. So the weird thing about his instant overhead was that if you got hit by it, you stood. Which is very weird. And because of that, it allowed you to get full combo. So Teemo will no longer be able to combo crouching opponents solo with instant air mid instant overhead. This will force him to use an assist to combo or complicated setups, which is like having to charge heavy, then dashing forward and getting the instant overhead. So he still gets the instant overhead, but you don't win the game. Hitbox is now lower. Performing this input on the arcade stick was extremely difficult. If we're going to leave it in, we want it to be more accessible. They made it easier to instant overhead? So Teemo, top 1 in the game. Ekko, top 2 in the game. This was actually pretty funny. Teemo's Mushroom Super no longer goes the wrong way. Vi, I don't really care. Warwick, that's a bug fix. No one cares. Yasuo, the third reason why we're here. We're toning down Yasuo's damage by adjusting heavy follow-ups from his calm stance. We're also adding additional risk to his current best option, mid-air crouching heavy. Finally, we're redistributing Yasuo's movement. Alright, damage nerfs. Reduced by 25. It was 145, now it's 120. Minimum damage scaling has been reduced from 0.3 to 0.2. Late into a combo, this now deals 24 damage down from 43. Sever Cloud damage has been reduced by 20. It was 130, now it's 110. So now instead of 100, so before it was 120% life. Then it was 130% life. Then it was 110% life. Now he can only do 100% life. Mid-air crouching heavy can no longer be canceled into special moves on block. So what that means that he was able to do a triple overhead. Now if you block it, I assume that means you can punish it. Land and recovery has been increased from 3 to 6 frames. Now, what this doesn't tell you, which I'm not gonna name names, bunch of idiots. We're not gonna name the names though. They're stupid. They think this means that Yasuo is dead. What they don't tell you is instead of 10 mix-ups, he gets 9 mix-ups. Wow. Stomp now pushes back slightly further on hitter block. I don't know what that means. Hopefully that means he gets a not do a combo and he can go to hell. Alright. Movement adjustment. Backward movement speed has been reduced by 20%. He's still faster than every character in the game. I don't know what that means. Backdash speed has been increased by 10% when he's in stance. So he's going to be schmoving. Gale Blade Hurtbox has been increased in size. Cool. His crouching heavy, his anti-air. Which is funny that people are complaining about top 3 best buttons in the game. They're complaining that the top 3 best button in the game got nerfed. Sign-up frames have been increased by 3. It was 11, now it's 14 frames. Hitbox has been slightly decreased. First of all, he shouldn't have been able to hit you 3/4 of the screen away and behind him. This move was too fast. This move was too fast for both how large the hitbox is and how much advantage you get on block. It is just broken. Also, his super assist, which is arguably top 5 moves in the game, if not top 5 moves in the game, don't even need to be arguably, has been increased by 8. It was 22 and it is now 30. So it's still broken. It's just not as broken. So, top 3 of next patch is ordered. Teemo number 1, Ekko Yasuo 2-3. The end. Congratulations. Wow. Nothing changes. Okay, general bug fixes. Fix a common disconnect that would happen after round 1. I've even had that happen to me. The camera no longer locks in place when handshake tagging after break. Yes, players from other lobbies no longer stand completely still at cabinets. Arcane finisher no longer makes champions invisible after round draw. The account level displayed on the player profile is no longer different to the actual account level. Battle Pass progress now properly updates. New skins, Resistance Illaoi and Sandstorm Ekko. So yeah, that's it for this patch. Still top 3, still stupid. Congratulations. What would you rate this patch, 1 to 10? I mean, it's a good start, like a legit good start, because the last patch didn't do anything. So this patch is pretty good. We'll just have to see just how good it is tomorrow.